I just want to take a minute and look at your faces. I've been sitting with my back to you. So I just want to take a minute and see you and connect with you and tell you what a great pleasure it is to spend this morning with you. I want to invite you to repeat a sentence after me. Love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
And I am love.
And I am love.
So I'm going to take you down a little bit of a dark tunnel, and I promise you I'm going to bring you back out. There was a shooting at Lakewood Church in Houston last week. When I said to Mark this morning, I want to mention the shooting that happened at Lakewood, he said, there's shootings every week. First of all, it's unfortunate that we have to think that way, and there's some truth to that statement, isn't there? But this was a different thing for me, because the young woman who went into the church with her gun and her child is related to a very dear friend of mine, is the daughter-in-law of a very dear friend who is a rabbi. And I got a note from her. How I found out about it was Monday morning. She sent me a note and said, this is what happened. I'm on my way to Houston. Please pray for me. She was down in Mexico, where she's serving a synagogue. So I did. And I have spoken with her several times and been there with her through the past week. That was Monday. Wednesday, I was in a mentoring session Thursday, I was in a mentoring session with a woman from Kansas City who is a Unity minister, who was telling me about the shooting that happened in Kansas City at the parade. I had not seen that either, because we were doing other things. I was doing other things, and I wasn't plugged in. And she shared with me what it was like to be planning her Ash Wednesday service and have to change everything, have to jump to respond to what just happened in her city. Friday, we flew home and got off the plane late, and it was icy and terrible, so we stayed in Denver, because we flew into Denver and we live in Colorado Springs. And Saturday morning, we drove home, and as I opened up my phone Saturday morning in the car, the story on the front of my phone was about 2 young people being shot at UCCS in a dorm room. So that has been the week. That all of that has happened in this much space from me, right, around me. And one of the things that is really interesting to me about life in general right now is that we are growing accustomed to what is horrifying. We have to survive. We have to grow accustomed until something gets close enough that it pulls our heart out of our chest. And when that happens, one of the first thoughts for me always is how important it is that we do what we do at Unity, that we have the tools that we have, that we are who we are and we understand oneness, that we can plug in and participate in the world from our seats, that we understand not just the concept of thinking into reality, but the reality of thinking and feeling into the world to hold some sense of balance and stability and care. This is what's real in our world today. And I say this because there's a lot of noise in the media about toxic positivity. And it's something, as Unity ministers, we hear, watch out for that. And we like our positive path for spiritual living, don't we? Like, we come here because it feels yucky out there. It feels good when we get in here. We like to feel good, and we can. And we also have to stretch the fabric of life to cover both ends of what's happening in our world. We have to make sure that we understand that this level of positivity that we hold and claim has to be stretched even harder and lived even harder when we have all of this going on. It matters what we do. It matters what we believe. And the newspaper is not going to say, thank goodness Unity is doing what they do. That's not going to happen. We have to know what we're doing. We have to understand that what we get when we come here is technology. It's tools. It's real stuff that makes life different. First of all, it makes life different here, doesn't it? Our ability to center and balance. I was speaking with Anne this morning about the ability to center and balance when people around you are struggling. To be an anchor makes a difference. We give you tools at Unity to do that. We practice these tools every time we come together. Our ability to think differently, to understand that our thoughts make a difference. So how many of you have heard that the world is going to hell in a handbasket? Right. What's wrong with our kids today? What is happening in the world? And we can talk about climate change, and we can talk about politics, and we can talk about wars, and we can talk about a whole slew of things, right? But you're all here because you know that coming here helps you to hold a certain frequency and vibration in the world that the world needs to make change. So if you got up this morning and lightly thought, I think I'll just go to church, you were called. You did not come by accident. Your soul brought you here this morning to remind you how incredibly important you are in the world. Love is the answer. And I am love. Always, always, always. Love is the answer, and I am love. You are the embodiment of the divine in the world. You are people of unity, people who understand that it's not the God out there, it's the God in here. It's the indwelling divine that we carry and live from. And that when we live the way Shower told us, the way we were taught and shown, when we live with compassion, we live with love, we live with forgiveness, we exercise healing, that when we do that, life becomes something different. So I'm here this morning to remind you who you are, to remind you that you are critically important in today's world, that your soul came here for a reason, not just to this church, but to this time, that you came here because you have something to give, an ability to hold center, an ability to hold love, an ability to be love, when love is the last thing people are thinking about. And that truth of love and the power of love does change things. So it's Lent. Wednesday we went into Lent. And I love how Charles Fillmore teaches about Lent. Because I grew up Catholic. And I couldn't have sugar or meat or all kinds of... There was a whole list of things as long as my arm that we weren't supposed to have during Lent. Charles Fillmore believed that we should abstain and that we should pray. He believed that we should abstain from errant thought and that we should focus our mind, our prayerful self, on spiritual truths. That's what we're supposed to spend this 40 days doing. So every time in your head right now, tool number 1, write it down, in your head, every time the thought pops in, what is wrong with our world? What is wrong with that person? We're going to hell in a handbasket, whatever it is, because it pops into your head. You don't have to admit it, but I know it does, because it pops into mine. Every time that happens, we are to abstain, to remove ourselves from this and move to a new space, to pray. And we start that prayer with, love is the answer. I am love. If love is the answer and I am love, then how do I feel as love in the world? How do I behave as love in the world? How do I walk as love in the world? How do I respond? I respond with compassion. I respond with forgiveness. I respond with healing for myself or someone else. And often the healing we need to do is the healing for ourselves first. I release and let go. One of the things I love about the way we make affirmations in Unity is that we say a denial first. This war has no power over me. I am love, and love is the answer. This painful situation has no power over me. I am love, and love is the answer. How do I now walk as love? When you say it, when you say those words, this situation, whatever it is, this ex-husband, this bankruptcy, this car wreck, this whatever it is, has no power over me. When you say it, it changes how you feel in your body. It makes you stand up taller. It reminds you that you are the divine expressing in that moment, no matter what the circumstance is. And the circumstances are real. This is how we take our power back in a world that can very easily make us feel powerless. That has no power over me. I get to choose who I am in this moment. I am love, and love is the answer. How will love act now when this is happening? Powerful, powerful tools we get, Unity people. Amazing tools that we have for this time. Does it stop what happened in Houston? No. It stops what's happening right here first. And then it allows you to be present to who is closest to you. Mary Morrissey says, do what you can with what you have wherever you are. Do what you can with what you have wherever you are. That's how you have power in what feels like hopeless, helpless situations. Do what you can with what you have where you are. You guys are collecting for refugees this morning. That's very dear to our heart. We have a refugee son in Uganda who we care for. I love that you're doing that. Do what you can with what you have where you are. You are going to send love from here to there. You are love in action. That love changes the frequency where it lands. The frequency changes the people around whoever receives. That sense for people that they are not alone helps them to come back to love. So it's important when all of these things are happening around us that we remember who we are. That we learn in this 40 days of Lent when we can practice to abstain from errant thought, to remove it. I'm not going to do that. And to use the tool of prayer and spiritual truth to bring our mind and our heart and our being to a different place. So my challenge to you is to do the Fillmorian work for the next 40 days. Most people don't like to hear discipline your brain, because discipline means punishment. That's what we were taught. But discipline and disciple, those two words are associated with one another. To disciple is to make choice, to follow a teaching, to follow a teacher, to follow a way. In this case, I invite you to disciple your thoughts, to follow your intention, your spiritual truth, to disciple your thoughts. Be the teacher. Remove yourself from here. Take yourself where you need to be. And hold the strength that people need in the world. It can be difficult because our brain does an interesting thing. When something happens and we get afraid, we go into fight or flight, and the thinking part of the brain becomes almost, it just doesn't work very well, right? We kind of tend to respond from reptilian brain. That's probably the first thing that happened when my rabbi friend called me. I think I went to there first. When these things happen, we go to the back of our brain, to fight or flight, to survival mode. And we need to be able to come back from that quickly. So I want to give you a tool for that. But notice your feet on the ground. Feel your feet in your shoes. Feel yourself connected to the earth wherever you are. If you are home with us in the Zoom room or you are here in the room, just notice that there is something under your feet that's actually holding you, that you are held, in fact, by every step, that the earth is holding you with every single step you take. You are never without holding. And allow yourself to just notice that. I am connected to the earth. Allow your focus to move up to your calves and your knees. And just bend your knees a little. And as you do, notice I have the flexibility of motion. I'm connected to the earth and I have the flexibility of motion. And allow your focus to move upward, on up through your thighs and into your hips. Let yourself wiggle a little bit in your chair. You have a seat of power. We all have one. Some of ours is a little bit louder than others. I have a good seat of power myself. You have a seat of power. It means something. This center part of your body balances all the rest, holds you stable. You are in your seat of power. Allow the focus to move up your body into your torso, noticing that you can turn and move from here to face a direction. You get to choose where you turn yourself. Let your focus move to your hands and your fingers. You are the hands and the heart of the divine in action. It's not by accident that the energy from our heart very easily moves down both arms to our fingertips. You're the hands and the heart of the holy in action. Allow the attention to move up to your throat, knowing that your voice, even when it cracks, brings forth the words of the divine, brings forth the holy breath, brings forth prayer, brings forth love. Just hum for a minute, any tune. Notice that voice. Humming will soothe the nervous system. Do you know that? Humming will soothe the nervous system. Thank you. You can hum for as long as you like, and then allow the focus to move up and relax the muscles in your face. Nobody's looking. Unclench your jaw. Relax the muscles in your face. And allow that energy to move all the way up until you can feel the lotus at the crown of your head open as you reach out to the divine. Not that divine that's way up and out there and apart from us, but that divine that flows through us, that connects us to all others, to all that is, that flows like a fountain back down and around your body. You are the thought of the holy. You are the presence of holy. You are love. Love is the answer, and you are love. What will love do in this moment? Gently open your eyes. So we start at our feet because we walk around using this all day long. It's like a bowling ball on our shoulders. It's so full of stuff. It's like a bowling ball. And in order to bring ourselves to peace in a moment of crisis, we have to start down there, not up here. We have to start down there and connect ourselves and remember ourselves and embody this form. Because when it's scary, we jump out of it into our head. And our brain isn't working very well at that time. So when we start at our feet and we become aware of ourselves and we remind ourselves we are this whole being. We are feet on the earth. We are flexible knees. We are our power. We are our heart. We are our voice. We are connected and the expression, the living expression of the divine, which is love, capital L, love. Love is the answer, and I am love. What will love do now? That process takes minutes. If you practice it, you can do it just like this. If you practice it, it will be a tool in your toolbox you can call on easily that helps you get your brain back online, working back with your heart and in your body so that you can be love in action. And that, my friends, is what we're here to do in every situation. Tell me. Love is the answer, and I am love. Thank you.